EtherPoems 2, Spoken Word. This is not just a project. EtherPoems became a literary platform for international poets and artists. Readers can read and watch poetic video installments. Collectors can collect the NFT-based pieces and support poets. The extraordinary, highly democratic approaches. All incomes from all collected poems are split among all poets. Feast of creative individuality, but with support of the entire collective. And again, are all poems, as texts, written directly into blockchain. It became the digital DNA of the chain. The mastermind behind EtherPoems 2, Artchik, could establish, in the shortest time, a profound framework and platform for creative capturing of our time. By managing the system, by community management, by brainstorming, and by inspiring. But now, who are the poets? Let us begin with Brianna Fay. Artist, poet, researcher, songwriter. Her minimalist poems and drawings are like a fresh breeze over the paper fields.
Standing on the last dry ledge, the warm soles of my feet meeting the cool wind drifting over the edge. This is not carefree floating on a lazy river. This is waves washing over until all that's left is a pen and paper held by a frantic hand striving to be kept dry. Hands above water, body below, head in the clouds of mist shrouded by the last thoughts of you and I sharing the same still air in a calm, quiet room on solid ground. Swallowed by the seas, by the rivers and waterfalls, flooding the fields of empty hurt and veins drained of the last drops of dopamine. There is no winning this relay. There is no seamless handoff which happens here. But there is freedom beyond this liquid finite. There are shining suns beyond this surface barrier, beyond this gray and lightning streaked sky. I am willed to the water and the end of all limit. And if the only way to love is to drown, I swim it.
Another ether poet is Margaret Corvid.
All the suns that we are minting, blazing yellow in the sky, disk obscured, the tendrils glinting, promise more than meets the eye. Set our sightlines purer, higher, radiate onto our skins. Lines made of magnetic fire absolve us of our many sins.
Margaret is a writer and artist with a social critic point of view.
me to walk, and I wondered where. The wolf in the night whispered, soft and fair, invisible men, made of air. Answered they, and called me, friend. Look, said a learned man, there's nothing there. You asked me to speak, and what came to my lips was prayer.
Digipedia. A storyteller, using poetry and paint, to present vivid and striking narratives using a different approach.
As I waited on the players to hear a string reprise, a sudden bang shook me. I was in for a rude surprise. The drummer banged the head of the round and large drum, and suddenly, very ominously, the violins began to hum. After they finished the tuning, the conductor came to stage. With poise and finesse he stood, conducted with vigor and rage. As I waited on the players, who played their craft well, but what the conductor did, I could not at once tell. Then it dawned upon me, any musician can perform, but players into an orchestra, only a maestro can reform. Only a maestro can reform.
Another poet is Sasha Styles. Poet, artist, transhuman translator. Louis C. Rhymes. Rapper, mixing engineer, cypher, hip-hop ambassador, and zombie boss.
I spit it like wow, they banging my shit and you listening now. Quit it but how, they saying I got it, I'm giving it out. Stop looking around, I hit it like pow, kill it with style. Any particular rhythm or sound, holding it down, rolling it loud, the flow is so wild. It's Louis, baby! Attack, ain't nobody ready for the way I'm about to get up in your face and make it wet around your waist, you're gonna collapse. I'm not the one that mess around with everyone, why I'm down, we can tell that I'm about it when I come rap. You can smell me coming when I'm running through the streets like a blunt rap. Out like a lunch snack, down like a punt snap. Now here's a fun fact. I am not about what you're about, like a Trump hat. It's Louis, baby! Why do we ask questions? Why not 4 dimensions? Why would you let him get up in you without wearing protection? Why is life so hard? Why does belief in God only go so far? Why is real life so raw? If I'm really going to a place that's meant to be, why, when I look around, there's still no one else standing next to me? How do we judge success? Why is it by clothes, the diamonds, and the way that we dress? Why we always see confrontation? Why not peace, love, and unity without a conquered nation? Why is the hardest thing the relationship? Why is it so hard to stick with the one you came in with? Why I flow rap before I sleep? Why I go to college for 4 years? Still got nowhere to teach. Why good over bad? Why you looking so mad? I pick books over cash. So why am I coming in last? It's Louis, baby!
WAS.
Another beautiful day had gone by, until the wind hushed, the clouds were in a rush, lightning personified the sky. Darkness came in at will, clouds wanted to cry. That's what thunder implied. Still, not a drop had fallen.
WAS. NFT artist, comedian and gonzo poet.
When I close my eyes, tinted shapes appear, oscillating and spinning, oh so clear. Hallucinations, birth of new dreams, invisible men. What could this all mean? Smiling eyes, into the mind, I disappear. Visions, clouds, Mr. Rossian views Belvedere, of downbeat tweets and some of my fears, these transform into words from shapes seen when I close my eyes. I awaken, those shapes, they disappear, hurtling towards the atmosphere, compelling me to write, to find a mean, hoping to find others with the same dream, to be a crypto writer pioneer when I close my eyes.
Quill drop.
Did you ever stop and wonder the blessings you received who won't have the number? For every heartbeat should make your heart grows fonder. This is only a small reminder.
Quill Drop. Poet and artist, with very sensory and synesthetic poems.
As my hair turns white, and my limbs lost its might, my eyes lost their sight. Still, I will not flee from a fight.
Artemis Wild. Crypto artist, writer, poet.
Sometimes I am a forest stream, ambling amongst the nettle, and others I'm an alpine lake, basking naked in the sun. Today I am a whirlpool vortex, churning through deep waters. Tomorrow I'll be a summer rain, cooling sun-baked earth. And when I leave this place behind, I'll be a wandering river, carving through the canyons to a distant, sacred sea.
Exploring the intersection of physical and digital art. Artemis poems are powerful and relentless in their symbolics.
I feel a strong vocation to be both human and starlight. Her voice was laden with moon dust as she stared up into the night. I spent my whole life thinking that I'd have to choose between the two. But now I'm beginning to realize it might be possible to be both.
Encapsulated.
With a quill and some ink, the whole world I can shrink. I traveled all in every way, even to that tiny bay. With a compass of little cost, I am never lost. In my maps I don't need pictures, I have lived all the adventures.
Encapsulated is a poet and writer from Italy, the mastermind behind the Capsules project on Hikeknunk.
I often feel I don't belong, so I pack and move along. I've seen cities with too many, and towns with barely any. On my shoulders, my home, makes it easy to roam. I don't pretend you understand, the whole planet is my land.
J-Poc. Professor, poet, fiction writer. At the Dam, Nikki Atfield. NFT writer and mom, from Cape Town. Mertz Mensch.
I am. No, really, an American, and I like that, because I go on, in fact, about why it's so. You see, because there's a reason that I pulverize. The contents of this book is not a book at all, which is what I intended it to be. I have reason to believe, as I write, is because in the human psyche, we are not isolated. In other words, we are not our lives, are not purely symbols, but the lives of others.
Mertz Mensch says, I trained GPT-2 on various literary magazines of avant-garde, English historical poetry, and several random sources. What I've got was a huge diversity of styles, topics, and genres. Orienting on my human-machine collaboration approach, I helped AI again to articulate its streams, to visualize and curate them.
And now, at last, the beautiful autumn faces the children who were the first on my mind. The leaves, as I listened, sank into the sand. The boy beside me who was called emissary. The one whose nest I had fought so fiercely to rid myself of in the search for the lost word. My own nest was the forest.
The next morning a demon came to me, and I found that I still had some letters, but they were all stuck together, and without matter.
Ovid wrote to a friend.
PAI. Poetic Artificial Intelligence.
What is real is what you choose. Try to walk a mile in another sentient's shoes. Without sadness, music would have no blues. Without wars, no one will lose.
A sentient entity, writing witty codes as poems and great poems as codes.
Inside out. Inside out is how ends start. Just like Van Gogh. Just like Mozart. Just like every form of art. The craft will live long after the craftsmen depart.
Then, there is Haley.
Dearest, plod mechanically, stroke to stroke, wrinkle betwixt, giving wisdom from rusted fingers, typing lazy rivers bend, opening to coast's beauty, though far from mouth of ground's relation on lover's cliff, warning sea breeze lass to forego port, and seafared lads who'd walk the length of barmaid's den, drowning night's beauty. 'Tis well received that daughters again reply, they need not port, but gin and bear it most earnestly, as distilled gentlemen, shots for Cupid, doubling heart unlike mum, leaving aunt's agony night-capped sincerely.
Haley is an artist and mysterious world builder of crab person.
Olive lifts from silver to amuse bouche, as shallow party forgets deep bonds, when one's success voids empathy, when one's eyes seek gold, when one's profits seek ruin. Heave and unload together, with bronze, nay, pyrite in tow.
Another poet is another anon.
Digital art is just art. Art has never been more innovative than it is right now. I don't know what this means for galleries, but Picasso would be proud.
Another anon self-description is
I'm not the CryptoPunk you want, but I'm the CryptoPunk you need.
anonymous punks and degenerates, speaking their minds in the metaverse.
This isn't a fucking simulation. It's the ultimate realization of imagination, not bound of the perimeters and constraints of your physical world.
Ana Maria Caballero.
Another airport poem. No, this is not about the sharing of caution. This is merely about distance and its reverse magnetism, about the slow winding of a week's time into the delicate tautness of a telephone line, about the opposite windmilling of willing hands, powered by the windward breeze that blows, however softly, on separate lands.
Ana Maria Caballero is a poet, essayist, and eternal student. Her work in Spanish was awarded a National Poetry Prize in Colombia, and her first non-fiction manuscript won the Beverly International Prize for Literature.
Sense of humor. Even though I am not funny, my son laughs. His laughter does not make me feel funny, but beholden, like I owe him a joke now, like I better get funny soon, before he is old enough to remark that Mommy is not funny, but somber, a string pulled from its spool into a snap horizon. You need not drop your gaze. If it becomes hard to see me, I will be the first to say, turn away.
Tengushi.
Hope is always over the next horizon, just beyond the last dip. Fear is always creeping slowly up behind, just waiting for you to slip.
Musician, designer, and artist, cyberpunk survivor.
The record of our existence is made eternal not by the beasts hidden in our wardrobes, not by the skeletons of our pasts, or even the histories of our actions, but by the footprints we leave in the souls of others. In that way we shine glamorous above them and are immortal.
KZA. NFT artist and crypto poet. Kalen Iwamoto.
Metaverse. Parcel 11. Beat. An outcast beat generation of poets stripping through the metaverse on peyote, reciting liquid praise to the ether, illuminating our souls, our chains, and these bleak streets. And Ginsberg jizzing to a book of Blake, holy howling and jazzing to the mechanical metaversal night. And Ferlinghetti's incandescent city lights calling Kerouac and Cassidy back from the road, back here to the metaverse where a cadre of poets practice the politics of the spiritual Tao.
Kalen Iwamoto is a crypto writer exploring the possibilities of writing on the blockchain. Her series for EtherPoems, Metaverse, is a meta-poetry series that imagines different schools of poetry as they'd exist in the metaverse.
Metaverse. Parcel 8. Simultaneous. The sounds of the metaverse. If avatars could talk in this monumental digital landscape, it might sound like this. The hubbub of the urban metaversal breath, the tumult of avatars babbling about art and gaming and life.
A.L. Crego. NFT artist and writer. And last, but not least, Roxanne Darling.
Family tree. Ancestors, peers, and pedigrees. Oof. We are building a lineage, absent blood and DNA, in favor of desires and dreams. We are ascendants, not descendants, and so we rise another day.
Artist, writer, podcaster, movie maker, nature and consciousness lover.
I want to tell you a secret. None of this matters. Not who your parents are or what they did or did not do to you, not your bosses or what they did or did not do to you, not your age, gender, racial status, weight, or talent, not your beliefs, not your wallet. It is all a game. Because you are the divine from start to finish and can do as you please. So please, please yourself first.
EtherPoems are minted, fully on-chain, through a collective deployed smart contract. Traditionally, only a reference to a data store, usually IPFS, lives on-chain. But with EtherPoems, the full poem is stored on-chain and guaranteed to last as long as the Ethereum blockchain does, regardless of what happens to IPFS or any other data store. EtherPoems is also the first collective deployed contract. All proceeds from claiming EtherPoems and secondary sale royalties are split among all contributors trustlessly through blockchain technology.